So you came across this video most likely because you have some sort of interest in the field of physical therapy and choosing it as a career. And let me tell you, there are great things about this profession, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality in the lab with the...
What's up guys, my name is Casey Coleman. I'm a physical therapist and the co-founder of Pre-PT Grind, and on this video we're going to be talking about the great things about the physical therapy profession, because there are tons and tons of great things and you have some sort of interest in this profession for a reason. So we're going to go over 7 things that I went through when choosing a career and 7 reasons why I love physical therapy and why I chose it. Now there are plenty of great things, but for the sake of this video I narrowed it down to 7. And in the comments below, you guys can drop comments about why you love physical therapy or why it interests you as well. And speaking of that, y'all have been doing great with the like button and commenting and sharing and turning on the notifications. So keep doing that. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate it. Now, I recently did a couple videos on why you should not go to physical therapy school and another video on is physical therapy dead. So I already brought a sense of healthy skepticism to why you should probably not choose physical therapy. But now, let's turn a light on the bright side and talk about why physical therapy is still a great profession despite those cons, because every profession has things that are problems and are not good things about the profession that can be fixed, and physical therapy is no exception to that. So let's go over 7 things on why I chose physical therapy and why they are pros for me, and let's see if you agree. So number 1, let's go through number 1. There is a shorter time span for graduate school. So for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who are new to the physical therapy profession and are just learning about it, grad school for most physical therapy schools are between 2 and 3 years. Now some schools are on the shorter side and accelerated side where 2 years in and out. Like that's great. You can start working after 2 years of grad school. So let's just say you're doing it the old-fashioned traditional way, no gap years, anything like that. 4 years undergrad, get your bachelor's, 2 years grad school, 6 years, then you're off making anywhere between 70, 72, 75, 80, maybe even more than that, $1,000 a year based on your setting and a bunch of things. I'll make a whole nother video about salary and things like that in the future. But after just 6 years, getting your doctorate and off to the races and making money, that is fantastic. Like, that is fantastic. Now, some schools are going to be 2.5 years, 2.7 years, 3 years at the most. Some flex programs are, 4 years. I'll probably make another video on that as well. But just keep in mind that the grad school length of time is a lot shorter than being a physician or even going further into being a surgeon and things like that. So just keep that in mind. That's a pro about the physical therapy profession that I just absolutely loved. You don't have to, go 4 years undergrad, then go 4 years med school, then however many years residency, then fellowship. It's just great. That's one that I love. So if you want to get out in the field working as a healthcare professional soon, physical therapy might be a great option for you. Now, there are other healthcare professionals or professions that allow you to work quickly, and physical therapy is just one of them. So that's one thing I love. Next, lower priced schools, and I'll put some asterisks around this because there are some very expensive physical therapy schools, but at the same time, there are less expensive physical therapy schools. And why I put this on the list was because compared to some other healthcare professionals, our physical therapy grad schools, for the most part, are less expensive. Now, if you go and do some data research on physicians or dentists or surgeons or anesthesiologists or maybe some pharmacists sometimes, I'm not too sure exactly on those numbers, and I don't want to get killed in the comments or anything because some people get sensitive like, oh my gosh, no, it's this number, no, it's that number, you don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, but just for the sake of this video, for the most part, physical therapy schools are less expensive. Now, you do make less money as a physical therapist compared to a surgeon or an anesthesiologist and things like that. I do get that. However, there are options for your school to cost less and for you to have less debt coming out of school as a physical therapist compared to, being something else and having $500,000 in debt or $700,000 in debt or something crazy and not being able to pay that off for 10 years, 12 years, or even get started, not even paying it off. Let's not even talk about that. Getting started on that debt for a long time. So this is a pro in my opinion. For some people, they might be like, no, the school I went to is this expensive, it's that expensive, that's not a pro, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's fine. I'll let you have that one. But for me, when I was looking into careers, this was a pro. I was like, okay, there are schools that are less expensive that I can go to, and compared to some other healthcare professionals, I will have less debt. And if I get out in the field working sooner than other healthcare professionals, I can start paying that off sooner or making other financial decisions with my life when I start making money. So for me, that was a pro as well. Number 3, clinical variety. Now, I love this one as well. All of them I love, but I love this one as well because you can do, in your scope of practice, a lot of things within physical therapy, and that's just the clinical side. So you can work with anything from the head to concussions all the way to the toe and specialize or solely treat like bunions or ankle and foot problems and things like that, from age ranges 103 to infants. Like, it is, and everything in between. It's crazy. And I love it. So if you ever have a fear of saying, man, I'm scared of being bored in a clinical environment. Let's just say I work in a traditional outpatient clinic for 6 years and I feel stuck. Man, do I have to change careers and go back to school? I mean, you could if you want something totally different outside of the physical therapy profession, but if you want to stay in that profession, you can bounce around and do something else. If you're in a clinical setting and you want to go to the hospital setting or work with pediatrics or work on and specialize in a different body part or go teach, or the list goes on and on and on, work in cardiopulmonary or vestibular. We can ramble about all that, but the point is that you can have different options within your career without having to get a new degree or without having to go back to school. Can you get small certifications that take a few weeks or a couple months just to brush up on your skills? Yes, absolutely. But it's not like you have to go into a whole nother career or do another residency or do another fellowship just to specialize in something else. The point is you're not as locked in as some other professionals or professions out there. And that I just absolutely loved. So that's clinical variety. Then the next one, going right into the next one, is non-clinical variety. Yeah, non-clinical variety. So just like nurses and some other healthcare professionals, nurses, physicians, and things like that, where you can do administrative work or open your own practice or be on the chief of staff or something for some hospital or work on the insurance side or make a device or make an app or, write and start your own blog or start a YouTube channel. The list goes on and on and on. Or like I mentioned before, teaching or being a part of a physical therapy school. That, I guess those kind of blend together a little bit. But you can do non-clinical things as well as a physical therapist. So if you ever burn out in the clinical side of things, you can go to the non-clinical side of things and use your degree for that. Like, it's very versatile in my opinion. So those are, I guess, 2 reasons that kind of mix together on why I love physical therapy as a career as well. So the list can go on and on for non-clinical things as well, and we can put those in the comments and discuss about it. I would love to, but those 2, man, these might be one of my favorite 2, clinical variety and non-clinical variety as well in this profession. So next one is, I guess I can call this one to some extent work-life balance, or it's usually a 9-to-5 job with physical therapy, and that attracts a lot of people, especially those who want some sort of a work-life balance or want a family in the future. With physical therapy, you do have that option to have that strict kind of 9-to-5 routine, or you can work 4/10s, if that makes sense. Now, if you're going to strictly stick, let me make this clear. If you're going to strictly stick to that 9-to-5 routine or just working 40 hours a week and not do anything else on the back end, you are going to most likely potentially be sacrificing money to some extent. Now, will there be some job opportunities out there where they're just going to pay you a lot of money based on your setting, your location, your experience, the agency you're with? Yes, absolutely, anything's possible. But for the most part, to keep it general, you will be sacrificing some cash if you just keep it strictly 9 to 5. However, that 9 to 5 or 410s or 40 hours a week kind of box does open up some free time outside of that for you to do something else, whether that's clinical or non-clinical or something totally outside the profession, and you want to get into investing or real estate or something, or just you want to do something else with your time. Physical therapy is mostly, now I'm going to say mostly, keeping it simple, keeping it general, is kind of a 9 to 5, 40 hour a week profession. Now, if you do want to make more money, you're going to have to, get some overtime, do some other things with some like skilled nursing facilities on the side, or make your own side hustle, or work on opening your own business and things like that, so on and so forth. I'll probably make another video on some money stuff, because I know that is a big question, and it should be a big question with how much I can make and so on and so forth. But that is one that I wanted to bring up a lot. I wanted to bring up because it does appeal to a lot of people. And another sub point I guess I'll put under this one is that it's relatively stable. Outside of coronavirus and COVID-19, the physical therapy profession is relatively stable. It's a healthcare profession. It's like pharmacy, nursing, OT, speech. All of those are relatively stable, which is probably what attracted you to this career as well. So anything could happen, just like something happened this year at the time of this video. But it is, at the clinic I'm at anyways, it is getting pretty busy, and it's roaring up just fine. So in a few years, if all goes well, not even a few years, less than that, hiring jobs and physical therapists will just be on its rise with no problem. So that's another one I wanted to bring up. So I don't know what I'm going to call this. I'll put the name around there, but that's my fifth point. Next, staying active, staying relatively active. I work in a traditional outpatient orthopedic clinic, and I move around. I walk around pretty much out of a 10-hour day, probably 7 hours. So I'm up and moving. I'm not stuck behind a cubicle. I'm not behind a desk. I'm working on patients. And I like it. I like being active. I like staying up. I like moving around just for the longevity of my health moving forward. So if that's important to you and you don't want to be stuck behind a cubicle, or it's important to you to get up and start moving throughout the day, and you want to stay relatively active, this is a plus for you for physical therapy, especially if you're doing home health. Yes, you're driving in a car all day and you're mostly sitting, but you're still getting up, going into the house, working on patients in the house, going back to the car, then driving. So you are still moving, especially in the hospital too, whether it's running from the patient's room to the hospital gym where you're working on the patients, or going from patients to patient's room. You're on the move constantly. So last one is autonomy. Now this of course is within your scope of practice. You can't just go cut somebody open, just be like, oh, Casey said I have autonomy as a physical therapist, I can do whatever I want. Like, not necessarily, but within your scope of practice as a physical therapist, you have autonomy to practice how you want, because your license as a physical therapist, your degree as a physical therapist, as you might see here on the video, it's yours. It has your name on it. Your license has your name on it. So you can take that license and go wherever you want. And I guess for analogy terms, rent it out to a company to use and bill on their behalf for the company to make money and to pay you. Or you can use it for yourself, start your own business and use it to bill patients and pay, or charge cash, or whatever it is. The point I'm making is it's yours. You worked for this degree. You worked your butt off to get into physical therapy school. You worked your butt off to get through physical therapy school. You worked your butt off to get your license, and now you're a physical therapist, or you're going to be a physical therapist, and now you can practice however you want. And that is just beautiful. That's just beautiful to me. I love it. I love it. You can, I don't even want to start listing all of them, because I'll start to miss one. Then I'll rewatch this video and be like, dang, why didn't you say that? So I guess we can discuss this in the comments as well, but I love the autonomy that physical therapists have within their scope of practice. So those were the 7 things that I love about physical therapy. Are there more? Yes, I might even watch this video while I'm editing it and be like, dang, I missed one. But for simplicity's sake and for the brevity of this video, those were the 7. So again, shorter grad school, for most cases less debt or lower price school options, clinical variety, non-clinical variety, I guess job stability or 9 to 5 jobs, I guess is one. I'll make up a name for it. Then next, staying active, and 7, autonomy. So hope you enjoyed this video. Those are some things you can look forward to in the physical therapy career. That's why I love it. Hope you may agree. Maybe if you disagree, we can talk it out in the comments as well. But I hope you enjoyed that. Hope that gave you some perspective on some good things about the profession and bringing light onto what you can look forward to and why physical therapy is a great profession. So as I mentioned before in the other videos, I guess I'll put them up here. Then I'll put another one up there, or you guys know how to work YouTube and the internet. The cards will be around for you to click on to watch those other videos where I bring some healthy skepticism to maybe why you should not go to physical therapy, or why maybe some think physical therapy is dead. And we do need to bring healthy skepticism to our big decisions like choosing a career. So I wanted to make those known as well. So hope you enjoyed this video on the pros to physical therapy, the 7 things that I love about the physical therapy profession, and we'll see you on the next video.